Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Zinda, The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Physics Warrior, P. Mars, Jose, Event Horizon, Earth Flattener, Arwin, and Adam Meakin. Good to have you all.
Howdy.
Good afternoon.
Guten Tag.
Hello.
Guten Tag.
Yellow. I'm
I'm
gonna join and leave now, Nathan. I was just bombing in for that quick bit, and I was gonna drop out in the break, but I thought rather than wait till tomorrow for the uncut version, I'd sit and listen.
Fair enough.
On the map bit. So take it easy, guys, and I'll catch you all later.
Thank you very much for joining, Adam.
Cheers
really
for dropping in with
appreciate
that,
it.
Adam. Thanks, mate.
And nice plug as well. So yeah, if you do want to see the in-between bits of this show, tune into my second channel, Nathan Oakley, where you get uncut debates, which broadcast about, well, between 12 and 24 hours after the first debate goes out. So yeah, check out Nathan Oakley channel. There's a link in the info box below this video. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nope.
No, Nathan.
No, Nathan.
Lots of curvature.
Yeah, I was waiting for P. What was that, P?
There's lots of signs of curvature.
Do you want to tell us about them? What are they, P?
If you go outside and you look, you can see curvature.
This is the banjo time again.
What kind of curvature are you talking about? I don't see that, P. Sorry.
I won't see curve on the airplane either. It's not even high enough for it. So nope, no signs.
Sorry, what do you mean you're not even high enough to see it? I always hear this argument from ballers that say that ships are going over the curve, but yet you in an airplane can't see the curve because you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, please.
No, sorry, go on, carry on.
It's not really a good idea taking drugs on an airplane, so I won't be able to see the curve. I'm not high enough.
Good point.
Sorry. No, I know what you mean with this argument.
Any signs of axial rotation?
Nope.
Spin? No.
I don't feel it.
You feeling it, Zinda?
Yeah, I feel it all the time. It's all around me.
I feel it in my fingers. Any signs of gravity? Scientific specific?
No.
Niente.
Yeah, there's a lot of signs of gravity. No, there's not P. It's pretty well established as a thing.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it is.
Mathematical construct, Pete. It works really well. But it's not. It's in the metaphysical.
Next one, Nathan. Next one.
No, go on. Have you got any signs of gravity, P? Or are you just asserting it as your religious belief again?
Everyone experiences gravity all the time.
No worries. Appeal to consensus. Moving on. Any evidence for the distance to the sun?
There is none.
There is none.
Yeah.
No.
Excellent. Go on, P. What's your evidence for the distance to the sun?
Aristosthenes.
What's that? Eratosthenes? What?
Tell us all about it.
Harry Potter.
So tell us all about Aristophanes.
He just measured some angles, and then he did trigonometry. And he calculated the distance
Tell
to
us
the
about
sun.
Tell us about the trig. What were the values he used?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't? Oh, that's a shame.
No, I know that he measured the angles to the suns, and he used the trigonometry calculate the distance.
No,
Did he?
that's about establishing R. That's not about the distance.
Bingo. He used R. He already knew it was a sphere before he measured any angles. He already had an R value.
I don't think he got the distance. He just got the sun rays are
Exactly.
almost parallel, which doesn't mean
You got the wrong argument, dude.
because he thought those are parallel, so they have either to be infinitely far or so far that they almost seem to be parallel. This was his conclusion.
Yes, sorry, that you missed it out like P did. Why would they be so far?
Because they seemed parallel.
No. What would be the effect on your vision based on the ground beneath your feet for him to make the leap that they're very far? You'd need a specific letter.
Yeah, I forgot the letter. Is it the radius?
Yeah. So
the radius of the Earth?
So if he's already got a radius, what's he measuring? Why does he need to measure anything? He already knows he's got a radius, right? He already knows what size it is. He already knows it's a ball. So no need for anything. No need for sticks in the ground. He's already got a presupposition of R based on looking up at the sky and saying, look at that light. It's got a curved shadow. That must mean Earth's causing that shadow. That must mean Earth's a ball.
Yeah, he calculated the radius by his presupposition that the Earth is round.
That's not calculating something, it's presupposing it.
Well, you can still calculate things you presuppose. I mean,
you would first have to presuppose it.
He didn't get the value. He presupposed R, but he didn't have the value before he calculated it. Can we agree on this?
No, he presupposed that the Earth was a sphere.
Yeah, but as I said, he presupposed R, but he didn't get the value until he calculated it.
Sorry, so he presupposed that Earth was a sphere. So he's not measuring and working out that Earth's a sphere. He's starting on the presupposition that he's on a sphere, based on looking at the sky, seeing a light with a shadow on it that curves, and going, that must mean Earth's a sphere.
I think first he presupposed it on a plane. Then he has seen that the sun seems to be like at many points, and then he put R into this, and then he got the sun as parallel as parallel rays, which for him then proved that the Earth is a sphere.
Sorry, so hold on, stop, Cinder. So he presumes he's on a sphere.
It's a logical deduction.
Then makes a measurement, and that counts as proof of the presupposition. No, he's already presupposed it. It proves nothing. Literally nothing. He's presupposed it's a sphere. So if I say, I'm going to presuppose the Earth is a banana, then I go forward, make a few measurements, and say, well, this confirms the Earth is a banana. Proof! No, that's a presupposition Earth's a banana.
Yeah, he kind of came to the conclusion like either parallel sun rays and sphere, or many suns in the sky and flat. This is just what he concluded, I think. I mean, I haven't,
right.
I can't read
that sounds logical.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Thank you. Like I don't say it has to prove anything, but I just said what he
incorporates the presupposition that they are physical objects. So many suns, it's all the same phenomena, just at different angles.
And for me, it kinda is a convincing argument he made, because
What?
I don't
It's not an
believe
argument.
in.
How many times you got to say it's a convincing argument? He didn't make an argument. He made a presupposition. So if I give you the exact same formulated argument for Earth being a banana, you're going to tell me that's a good argument?
Well, if you pre-propose the Earth as a banana, you won't get parallel sun rays.
Well, I'm sure I
anymore.
could make the maths work with enough time. My point is just the same.
I don't.
If
I
I
don't
make
think
a
so, you won't be able-
presupposition that Earth is a given shape, then go forward, make my measurements with that shape in mind, and then conclude that I've proved that shape, it's not. That's a circle jerk, begging the question. All it does is confirm your own assumption. It doesn't make the assumption true. It doesn't prove anything at all. Proves you can beg the question.
It's just like if you are investigating a murder scene and you want the suspect to be the guilty party, and you look at all of the evidence and then you make all of the evidence fit to that subject. That's your presupposition, and you are then creating the scenario where your presupposition is verified. But it's all fabricated. It's all fabricated.
Well,
The
they
one
still
thing
will
that
get
I
the killer.
noticed. No, you won't. You'll get an innocent man that you want. Yeah, no.
As I said, the killer. I mean, at least I can say the case is closed.
Yeah, at least someone's locked up. Hey, who cares if they're guilty or innocent?
Yeah.
Case
one
closed,
cares.
man. Let's
Build
move
your
on.
bias.
Life is sweet. Innocent man rotting in jail. People believing that he's killed somebody. That's all good, right?
Yeah.
No, that's terrible.
All right. I think we have a different worldview.
Yeah, you'd rather lock up the innocent so long as it closes the case. I'd rather say I
Yeah.
don't know until we've actually got evidence of assertions rather than presuppositions of them. Anyway, moving on. Any evidence of a
They're not
self-perpetuating...
presuppositions, though. That's your argument fails right there.
All right, prove R then. Hello? Hello, P? If it's not a presupposition, prove it. Right now. Anybody got a tumbleweed sound effect? So you're going to retract that, P? It is absolutely a presupposition, P.
No, it's an observation.
Sorry, that's just a hand wave dismissal. So I've asked you to prove it. You went very silent. Now I'm asking you again to prove it, and you're saying, no, it is just true. So again, this is the third time this show that you've asserted your religious belief, P. In fact, it's all you've done so far, is assert religious beliefs about things.
You're wrong about everything you say.
Another hand wave dismissal. So give me evidence of R right now. Prove it.
You're wrong.
So that's another hand wave dismissal, third in a row.
Somebody snipe me.
So where's the evidence of R then, P? You're just going to tell me I'm wrong for a fourth time? Or are you going to present some evidence that it's not a presupposition as it absolutely is?
Everything you say is bullshit.
Oh, right. So that's not evidence of R then, P. So I'm going to assert again, R is a presupposition, always has been, always will be.
It's not, though.
So you're going to prove it then, P? Fifth time. So moving on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
No.
Of course there is. Don't be ridiculous.
Excellent.
No.
Molten iron core, P. Do you want to give us some evidence of that?
You're wrong about everything
So
you
I'm
say,
not
Nathan.
asking a right or wrong. I'm saying, is there any evidence of something? So I'm not right or wrong to ask if there's any evidence of something. I just need you to prove what you claim. You say there is evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, then I'd like to see that evidence, please.
All your arguments are dumb.
That's not evidence of a
And
self-perpetuating
they're
molten iron
lies.
core at the centre of a
You're
presupposed
liars.
Earth. That's just an ad hominem attack. So, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, P?
You're a liar, Nathan.
Oh, really?
And you're wrong
not
about
evidence either.
everything.
Another
you
ad
Okay,
hominem
say.
P,
attack.
get serious. Drop
Second
the
in a row.
hillbilly act and get serious or get sniped.
Yeah. This is getting really boring, P. You've come and done this for a couple of days now, man.
Conspiracy.
It's funny for a few moments, and after that gets old.
Yeah, this is from somebody who claims that he's trying to battle against the indoctrination, yet he's just blindly asserting rhetoric from a religious faith.
And you've spoken nonsense for days.
Flat Earth is propaganda. It's a lie.
So we haven't made any assertions. We've asked for evidence of the rhetoric that's standard currently in schools, P. You were taught it and I was taught it. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone on the panel was taught it. We're now asking for evidence of it. So we're not making any assertions. We're asking for proof of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. Do you have that or not?
There's things that are there evidence for these things.
Yeah, that's what we're asking for.
You just want to sit here and act like there's no evidence, but
so give it us.
Is evidence.
Yeah, so give it us then.
So you're Why
so
are you
give it
lying?
Us. So give it us, P.
Why should I?
Any last words, P?
I think he's getting
Nathan
kicked.
is a liar and he's wrong about everything he says. Presuppositions.
I'm asking questions. I'm not making any assertions, P. No, I'm asking questions. Not making an assertion about a presupposed spherical Earth. Not making an assertion about a molten iron core. Asking if there is evidence for it. There is no possibility for a lie to be in that statement. It's a question. Anyway, we've already covered R, so I'm pretty sure that covers the housekeeping. Hello, Billy. Warren, good to have you.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. Beats P Mars. Hello, Truth Seeker as well. Good to have you. Is that a Wookiee?
That was a proper Wookiee.
Were all of you taught at school that the Earth is a sphere, like as a lesson, and
Yes.
like
Yes.
evolution and everything?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, very young age.
When I was at school, they didn't even mention the shape of the Earth. They didn't talk about space. The only thing they talked about regarding the Earth was like plate tectonic and geology.
Right. So, what type of school?
From the don't remember the name in English, but where you go from around 7 years to 6
not
years.
the grade. I mean,
What country?
no, but the type of school. There are different branches. There's
Public,
was
private,
philosophical
Christian.
streams.
Public school, was it
the obligatory one.
Was it a wizard school? What kind of school?
No, but there's like anthroposophic, philosophized schools. There's all these different types of schools.
Yeah, wizard school.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah, the obligatory one where the standard the government school, right? Not the private schools I'm talking about.
I went to Starfleet.
For me in Puerto Rico, I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico, and they taught this astronomy BS in like 2nd and 3rd grade, and we had to learn the planets' names, some of the distances and the orbit, and we had to do these little, projects and stuff. So yeah, we were taught very young age. Now the evolution part, I think it was like middle schools, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and they told us, but it was as a theory, because so they taught us both, a little bit about creation. So people think, it was created like the Bible say, and then the scientists now they're studying like it's possibly that we were evolved out of nothing and all this without big details, but they told us just the rough sketch,
Yeah. All right.
Nathan, John wants to join. He's asked, would you mind calling him on Skype?
Yeah, no worries.
I mean, I drop in some minutes anyway. If you want to join us with his own on the show,
Hello?
he's free to.
Thanks.
I have to take the flight later. Can't waste all my time here. Although it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, you're a good guest, Cinder, I'm not going to lie. You're one of the only Globers that make concessions. Don't get me wrong, there's been a couple of others, but you actually do make concessions, which I like a lot. You don't say the same thing 15 times.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I have to admit that I'm wrong too. And it's more fun if it's escalating in a 20 minutes debate where people shout at each other. But today, I think I was kind of calm. So, yeah. Have a good time. Have a nice 3 weeks. And I hope I will see some development when I come back.
Hey,
from
Zinder,
Flat
wait a
Earth
second.
and-
I wanted to join to ask you something. Hold on before you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sole reason why I called to join. I wanted to ask you something. can you have the philosopher of geology join the show at some point?
The philosopher.
Yeah, you said you had a friend who has a PhD in
I-
geology.
I was confused because of philosopher. Maybe I can ask her, but I hope she will join, but I don't think so because she thinks flat earthers are stupid and mentally ill, and she doesn't.
Right. But you didn't think she was a philosopher?
No. Why should she?
What is
Why philosopher?
What does PhD stand for?
I thought it's like the doctor title.
A doctor of philosophy? Maybe?
No, I
Of
thought it's
geology.
fantastic.
I'm kind of confused. Sorry, there's like a little language barrier here.
What's the language barrier? I think it's a cognition barrier. PhD is a doctor of philosophy. So
right,
I want
then
you
I
to I want you to ask her, please, for the geology philosopher to ask her to come on. And another question: do you think she's a
doctor, dude.
scientist?
Correct. This is you can have a PhD in everything, in geology, in physics, in medicine.
Do you think she's a scientist?
It's not about language barrier, just that you are completely retarded. I don't want to talk to you about this. So
right,
have a nice time, dude.
Ad hom fallacy, right?
Please
was not making an argument.
We would like her to come on here and then explain how and why she is a scientist. That's what we'd like. We'd like a very calm discussion. I have a few questions to ask her.
Hopefully I'll ask. We shall see.
Hey, I'm a geologist, and I got some legit credentials.
Are you a PhD though? Do you have a PhD?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think John's basically looking for a PhD to debate. And you're on the same side. That would be the other problem.
Well, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I wouldn't be bringing anything new.
No. I think to
Does
answer
he
John's
have a-
question, she's not a scientist though, and John knows it.
It's a good question. Actually, I'll try to do that this weekend. I'll try to reach out to some of my colleagues because I definitely know a lot of PhD geologists.
Oh, really? Oh, well, yeah, definitely. If you can reach out to a
Yeah, I've kept
PhD
contact
globehead.
with like some of my friendly professors. So yeah, I'll reach out. I know there's a lady at Wellesley. I got a couple I could contact.
Cool.
Do you think that they'd come on and show how and why they are scientists?
Well, that's why it'll take me a week or two because I haven't reached out to them in a year or two. So I'm gonna at least touch base, and then maybe I gotta kind of do a soft landing. I can't just be like,
Right.
Hey, come on the flat Earth debate. My degree was bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, I got you. Just to ask them, I just want to know if they can provide support for what they say is their position and their degree. Because we got to take this to another level.
You're not gonna George Netanyahu on them, are you?
No, I just want to ask them. I'll do it calmly. I just want them, and I think it's a reasonable question, is if they think they're scientists, to explain to the audience why they are scientists. Because, if I'm a banana, then I have to have certain characteristics that make a banana, correct? I have to be chock full of complex carbohydrates,
Don't oppress
potassium.
me. How dare you? Don't oppress me. I can be a banana if I want to be.
Yeah, I just want them to show us that they're a banana. Right? If you call yourself a banana, then show how you're a banana. I think it's a reasonable question. I think it's fair.
The one
Everyone here on the panel has a banana.
The geologists I know, they definitely do real science because they're working at such a detailed level. Like they are doing real science. It's obviously there's some false assumptions thrown in there. Like the one I know is a geomorphologist, and she works every time there's a flood in Southeast Asia, anytime of the tsunamis and whatever. She does like legitimate research, but I mean, obviously some of her, she has assumptions that are wrong, that are whatever.
I'm saying that it's my position that geologists, there's a whole list of them. You can see many of my presentations. Geology is just one. But specifically, geologists, I'm saying that they're not scientists. They don't follow the scientific method. That's my position. I want them to show me otherwise. And I think that's fair. Right? Do you think it's unfair?
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, they do legitimate science. Like, globe hoax aside, like they are doing legitimate work in science.
What is
But
legitimate science?
I get what you're saying. If you press them on this specific, claim, then yeah, they're gonna be exposed for a belief, a blind faith belief.
No, I'm not talking about their beliefs. I'm talking about their methods. You said that they do legitimate science. That means they do legitimate scientific method.
Yeah. Oh, the ones I know, they do legitimate science, and they.
That's what I want to see it.
Their intent is pure.
How do they do it?
I want to see it.
Well,
what gave you the impression that they are good scientists?
So I'm just giving you an example. The geomorphologist I know, every time there's a tsunami, she actually goes down and measures how many centimeters of sand are deposited in each location. And she makes maps out of this.
Science?
So she has good statistics.
Hold on a second. I get what you're saying. I just want me and who am I speaking to?
Truth Seeker.
Truth Seeker. I'm Quantum Eraser. Nice to meet you. Are you Chris?
Like, nope, I'm me. No duplicates.
I'm sorry. There was a truth seeker back in the day. His name was Chris. Here's my problem. You said that she was doing legitimate science.
Well, you know what I mean. Like you said, you could qualify it as statistics, whatever you want to call it. I'm just saying she's in the business of gathering objective numbers with like an objective intent of gathering more wisdom and knowledge from it. I don't know what you want to call that.
Data gathering.
That's fine. She's a data gatherer. That's
that's cool very admirable. That's very useful. So,
but that's not my question. My question is she a scientist? Does she consider herself a scientist, he or she? And why does she or he consider themselves a scientist? We want the list of reasons why. Just let me know.
I'll start. That's going to be a hard one to get to her, but I could at least I'll start the communication, see what I can do.
Sure. Nothing about flat Earth. Don't bring flat Earth up. I'm not asking a question regarding that. My sole question is, what makes her think that she's a scientist, or he, whatever? And please provide the list of reasons why.
Yeah.
Simple.
They probably misunderstand the fundamental. Everybody buys into the cultural word use of science to just emphasize like a certain region of occupation and ways of thinking. That's how it's regarded in general.
Yeah, you're right, Arwin.
People don't really know about the scientific method and everything. That's like hardcore, you leave that to the serious guys.
No, that's not hardcore.
That's how people see it.
I know how people see it, and they're wrong. That's the problem. That's what John's trying to highlight. That everybody who uses the word science is essentially abusing a reification fallacy. Science doesn't say anything. Science is not an institution. Being a part of MIT and measuring candlelight at 2.4 kilometers is not science just because you've done it under the banner of MIT. That's just a measurement. It's just an observation. But if you go out with a name tag and a white coat and make that measurement while you're part of MIT, you go, science! No, not science. Just abused.
No,
Everybody abuses it.
I get the distinction. It's important. I get the distinction. That's important.
But it's at the very heart of this deception, this problem. So you watch TV, I watch various different ads on YouTube, not TV necessarily, but they'll say, science has discovered that. In science we look at. And science says that. And you hear this and it makes me cringe, and you're like, well, this is the problem. People assuming that they need to claim something is science just because kids, all of us, were told at a very early age that science proves things. So it's very useful to say the words science when you're trying to establish something as true, even if it is a very valid measurement that you've made. You say it's science, and people go, "Ooh, science." Well, no, it isn't. It's just a measurement, but that doesn't have quite the weight. That doesn't have the same gravitas. If you say, "We've made a measurement here at MIT," you go, "Well, here at MIT, we've done some science, and here are our results." And it sounds wonderful. It just isn't true. And like I say, that's the root of the problem. If people realised that when NASA astronauts say, "Well, we're doing science here on the ISS," no, you're not. No, you're pretender clown pseudoscientists passing yourselves off as scientists, because that's not what you're doing. Anyway.
No, I get that is good because it builds them credibility on something that likely would not give them much credibility.
Well, it's hijacking the credibility of a method. That's what it's doing. So the method is extremely credible and works and proves things. So if you can strap your pseudoscience onto that, that's very useful. It's only pseudoscience if you want to claim it's science. So that's why I jumped down Anthony's neck yesterday when he was like, MIT have scientifically measured how far you can see a candle. I'm like, no. As soon as you say that, that makes the observation a pseudoscience observation rather than just a good observation. Well, there's nothing wrong with just observing how far you can see a candle and then stating it. But you don't have to claim it's science, because then some asshole like me comes along and says, "That's pseudoscience," immediately making it seem less credible. Okay, that's the end of my rant.
No, it's a good rant. It's a good point, and it's actually, that's another veil that they hide behind. So it's a good one.
Yeah. But there's certainly been people in this community already who initially have fought tooth and nail against this. I mean, I contacted dozens and dozens of people about this very issue. And initially, I was met with hostility from some of them, saying, "No, I'm a scientist." "Really? Well, how are you establishing cause and effect when you do X?" "Well, I don't, but it's still science. It's a knowledge, it's an understanding, it's this, it's that, it's the other." "Well, that's not science." And, given a relatively small amount of time, many of them have conceded. They've gone, "Yeah, you're right," and started to recognise the inherent problem that causes when you start to hijack this term. So I'm pleased. I'm absolutely over moon with the response from the flat Earth side of this argument, because there's no need for us to hijack science. We're only doing it out of habit.
I think that's a really good point that John Quantum Rosa brought in as well to Zinda about PhD. It is literally staring you right in the face. It's a philosopher of geology. It's not a science, it's philosophy. It's all right gathering information and data and numbers and whatever, but then sitting around and thinking about it and basing that on presuppositions and then probably conforming to your own bias anyway. It's not science, it's not following a method. You're not doing any experiments when you're pointing at the stars and thinking about what they are. It's right in the name. It's right in front of you, but people don't even understand these terms. And Zinda just kind of like, John, you're this, you're that, I'm off, dropped.
But one thing we need to also consider is that the scientific method is also a philosophy because it's just based on the truth and experiences as we know them. But there may be more to it. We just don't know it.
Science is the study of the physical and natural world, though, isn't it? It's a study of the physical and natural world.
We
can sit around and think about it.
Things that are not natural in the scientific method also.
No, but it's not about the ethereal. So specifically, it's exactly about the tangible.
Right, but people stray off of that.
That's how you can be certain of phenomena and all that. No. It's not a philosophy. It's a method.
Yeah, let me try to maybe clear some things up here. The scientific method is derived from a philosophy. That philosophy is philosophical naturalism. Your methods are derived from your philosophy. Now, this is a very important point coming up next. The scientific method itself, that is observing phenomenon, construction of a hypothesis, an experiment, the experimental results are not philosophy. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, empirical.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Now, and when we say science, listen, if you get down to the meaning of the word, and we're all about the meanings of words, they're important. Science means knowledge, right? To gain knowledge. Implicit in our genre here is natural science, correct?
Yep, with you so far.
Correct.
That's natural. When we're talking about science, we're talking about natural science. We're not talking about computer science. You see how they throw these terms around. There's science for everything, right? But implicit in this genre, it is natural science that is at the forefront here. So
Well, it's another
if
word for lore, basically.
what's another
Computer
word for lore?
knowledge of how to deal with computers and
Yeah,
how it is designed and all that. But it's
well,
not really science anymore.
science is to know, right? It's knowledge to acquire knowledge, right? And people abuse it and put all kind of words in front of it, right? To kind of add veracity or masquerade. But when we're talking in this genre, when we say science, we mean natural science. We're talking about the earth, right? The natural world is what we're talking about. So, lest there be any more confusion on this, when we say science, we mean natural science. It's implicit in the genre. All right. So I broke it down so even crayon munchers know what it is. So we shouldn't have any problems going forward. We want a reasonable discussion of people that think they are scientists that spent 200,000 or plus more with their science degrees. They walked under the ivory towers, under the arched gate that said science on it. Well, that doesn't, I can put anything on that arched gate, right? I could put jelly beans. I could put anything on there. Triglycerides, it doesn't matter, right? But to be something, you have to exhibit characteristic traits of that something. I think that's reasonable. I think that makes sense. And I want to ask these people what makes themselves scientists. I want them to explain it to the audience. They're saying that there's something. Prove to us that you are that something.
But I've got on
Is that
screen, John. Can
unreasonable?
you see what I've got on screen?
Cake ingredient science, yes.
Well, that's science, isn't it? It says right there. It's right in the title.
Hey, John, how you doing? Jose here.
Hey, Jose.
It's
I got a
dilution.
question for you. Sorry. Well, give us a little bit of your take on yesterday's. I seen you and Betty on the Discord server having a chit chat, and then I jump in and Debbie jump in, and like a bunch of ballers from the Gen Panda Discord jump in. What was your take on all that interaction?
It's the same thing that's been going on from the beginning, right? People jump in. No one wants to have a reasonable discussion. It always gets sidetracked into, you're stupid or people over talking. People want to talk. You have people in this discussion that shouldn't be in the discussion, right? I mean, if I was in a mechanics discussion, like back in the day with my best friend, he was an ace mechanic. I mean, this guy knew everything about cars, right? He could fix anything. I didn't have those skills. So when everyone came down to watch him fix all these cars in his garage, I was a ghost. Where's John? Where'd he go? I'd keep my pie hole shut because I didn't know anything about it. I couldn't speak to this, right? People need to learn this lesson. If you don't have the acumen for the tenets of this discussion, why are you here? To listen to your own voice? I don't know, perhaps. I'm going to tell you what. If you're here to listen to your own voice and I'm in the vicinity, you're through. I'm going to expose you as the pretender clown that you are. Now, am I the bad guy for that? I'll leave that up for other people to make that judgment call. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to expose you as the pretender clown that you are. Period. Are we tracking Sally's? I don't care who you are. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's a lot of snowflakes in the flat
Oh,
Earth
yeah.
community, though, isn't there, John? There's a lot of snowflakes that think that if you're a flat Earther, you should agree with their nonsense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They're
as I was
they're on
saying,
both sides, right?
We should use the scientific method, and I appreciate that that's what's happening on this show because it's very confusing as to what's going on and this deception that we're in. But even on the flat Earth side, we use philosophy like the law of thermodynamics, which is just philosophy that shouldn't even be a part of the scientific method. You know, it's created by man. These ideas are made by men, and there may be other reasons as
You're
to
overstepping your
why.
bounds here. Second law of thermodynamics isn't philosophy. It's not
It is
science,
philosophy
but
because
it's
it
not
may be
philosophy.
more than just what we know about it.
No, the
It's really
laws of
not philosophy, Mark.
thermodynamics, the natural laws are the natural laws. That's not philosophy. Heat flows from hot to cold always. That's not a philosophy. That's what happens.
It happens in our natural world, but
That's right.
in the unnatural world, which is the sun and things that we don't know, the universe, it doesn't have to necessarily apply to that.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
These are
So if
laws of
if
nature.
the what?
But they're laws of nature. I mean, it's falsification
Right.
that you need to make that statement that it doesn't apply to the sun. Well, fine, demonstrate that. And until somebody demonstrates or falsifies the second law of thermodynamics, I'm more than happy to put my little mark next to it and say, yep, that's what happens. There's no examples of it not happening.
Exactly. So you're having faith that it's correct, but it doesn't make it correct.
Faith, define faith.
Putting a little check mark next to something that seems valid in our natural world, but may not
That's
be,
not faith.
because we
Define
don't know
faith.
what the sun is.
Define faith.
Do we have to define faith?
Yeah, you said it was faith.
Having
So
a
define
belief
it.
in something, having a belief in something that you can't possibly know.
Okay, so we can't know that the
sorry, go
now
ahead.
hold on a second. So
Yeah,
we
I am
can't
holding on. I said
know
sorry. Go
the
ahead.
second law of thermodynamics, right? Is that what your claim is?
Sorry, repeat that.
Is that what can I repeat it? Yeah. So what you're saying is the laws of thermodynamics are faith. You said faith is something that we can't know, right? So
Yes.
do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is? Just briefly.
Briefly, yeah.
Yes, just a short sentence would do it.
Second law of thermodynamics claims that things that are disordered cannot be brought back to their original state. So everything is becoming a disorder.
I guess I guess
Yeah,
that could be
whatever.
it. We could say that,
There's a lot of parts
or
to
we
it.
could say it's basically stated that very simply, heat flows from hot to cold spontaneously, always. It will never flow the other way. So, are you telling me that we don't know that?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yes, that's what your claim was.
No.
That it was
What
faith.
I'm saying,
That it was faith. So we do
what
know
I'm
that. So it's
saying,
not faith.
what I'm saying is that we have like a block of wood. You burn it, it becomes disordered, right? It becomes a gas and it will never be that block of wood again, right? And so that's why everything is becoming a disorder. That's why you have that bedroom that if you leave it alone, it'll start to break down. It'll start becoming disordered, right? This happens in our natural world.
That's correct.
But the problem is, let's say the entire Earth is our bedroom. The sun comes out every day and gives everything life instead of disorder. So we don't actually know why the sun is doing that. And that's the problem with the law of thermodynamics, because thermodynamics is a bird's eye view of our Earth. but it is not a bird's eye view of the entire universe and the disorder that may or may not be happening.
Well, the
That's what
entire
makes it a
universe is
philosophy.
part of the natural world. So,
I don't think so. The whole universe is a
oh,
part
you
of the
don't think
natural
so?
world?
You don't think? Yeah.
You don't know what the universe is. You don't know what the universe is. It may be lights. You don't know what it is. How
It's
can
still
that be
part of the
natural? You don't know
natural
what it
world.
We
is.
can prove them to be lights. That's the proof we can basically extrapolate.
We don't know what the
Well,
universe
light,
is.
The
well,
universe
basically gives you the input that
Hold
daylight
on, Arwen. Just
creates
hold on.
life.
Arwen, can you just be Earth Flattener and John just till the conclusion comes?
Yes, I'm trying to figure out how the universe, whatever that may be, I mean, according to secular science, it's, outer space and all the planets and stars that are suns and everything out there is the natural world. How is that not the natural world, please?
It's not the natural world because we don't know, like that block of wood that burns out and becomes a gas and creates more disorder, lending credence to the idea of the second law of thermodynamics. We don't know if the sun will ever burn out or if it will just continue hydrating the earth, giving the earth life.
That irregardless of
And
that, you
that's the
said it wasn't
problem.
part of
We
the
may
natural
never have
world.
disorder.
That's the
What I'm
problem.
saying, what I'm saying is that we may be in an equilibrium that we don't understand. And the second law of thermodynamics also claims that the disorder can be brought back down from a more expanded state if the conditions are right. So seeing that we don't know what the sun is and that the sun gives everything life, maybe this disorder was
This
created
is
initially and
nonsense. You
came
don't know.
down.
You need to look up the second law of thermodynamics and what is defined as the
No, I
natural
don't. That's
world.
not an answer.
This
That's
is
not an
another.
answer.
That
How is
is an
that
answer, and your position is one of ignorance. So yours is
Now-
an argument from
Wait,
ignorance.
what?
Now,
No,
this
no. Why
is the
don't you explain
philosophical
it to a
concept
crayon
of.
muncher
Am I
since you're so
talking
clear
to
on
you,
this?
Arwen?
Hold on, we've got three people
Arwen,
talking again.
shut
Arwen,
up.
Arwen, come on.
This is the philosophical.
Jeez,
entity.
I'm
It's
mad.
not the same thing.
So why don't you
Unbelievable.
explain it for the crayon munchers of the world instead of telling me to go look it up? Because I think what I'm saying, it does make sense. You're just saying that it's something else that you're not going to explain to me that I should go look up.
This is less than this is below crayon munching territory. That the
That's fine.
universe, or what we call the
Explain
universe,
why.
my
I actually get
argument
what she's
is,
saying.
if
I
you'd
get
shut
the
up,
point.
I'd
It's
tell you.
very good.
If you'd shut up,
Well,
I'd tell you. It's like I said, it's well below crayon munching territory. I mean, this is apodictic to everyone. The natural world is what we or they call the universe. Whatever that may be, it's still part of the natural world. Now, the fact that the sun is a second law of thermodynamics violation according to their narrative is irrelevant to the point.
it's not
Follow?
irrelevant because the sun gives everything life.
Hold on.
And we don't know
hold on,
why.
hold on. Sorry, Earth Flattener. So, John, I think what Earth Flattener's trying to point out is that hole in the narrative, and you're saying it doesn't matter. So, can you give a bit of clarity to why it doesn't matter? Because I now see Earth Flattener's point.
What's that?
Well, he's saying there's a hole in the narrative, and you've just agreed with that. So you're saying, despite the fact that their sun doesn't jive with the second law of thermodynamics, it doesn't change the second law of thermodynamics. But that's exactly Earth Flattener's point.
Yeah, it doesn't change the second law of thermodynamics at all. I've made presentations about this for the past 7 years, that the sun, according to their narrative, violates the second law of thermodynamics, right? But that doesn't refute that or what we call the universe isn't the natural world, is my point.
So you're saying, I think the answer, Earth Flattener, is that their narrative is what we're picking holes in. And if space and the sun defies the second law of thermodynamics, and we can observe that law in action, then that's their problem with their narrative, not a problem with the second law. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't care. I don't care about their point in the second law of thermodynamics because they're wrong. What I care is that we, as flat earthers, so-called, use the second law of thermodynamics as if it is fully valid, but it in itself is philosophy because we don't know what the sun
Here we go back
is.
to the same point again. You're saying
Yeah,
it's
you
philosophy,
didn't answer.
but
You're
it's
telling
not.
me to go
You
look
don't
it up
know.
somewhere, and
You
that's
don't
not
know
an
what
answer.
philosophy
If it's
is. You don't
below
know what
crayon
faith
muncher, then you
is.
should be able to
You're
answer it,
just.
right?
You're just. It's just verbal diarrhea. You
No, it's
contradict
not.
yourself.
No, it's not. You're
You're
just a
contradicting yourself.
creationist, so you just want to make me seem like I'm an idiot. But what I'm
I'm
saying
a
is
what?
correct.
What did you call
And
me?
even Nathan Oakley is saying, I think he's saying this, I think he's saying that, because nobody actually knows. And neither do you.
What did you call
don't
me?
know what the universe
I've
is.
asked you this, John. I've asked
What
you
did
You
you
don't know
call
what
me?
the no. Shut up,
Hey,
Arwen.
shut up, Arwen.
What?
What did you call me? Shut up. I'm not talking to you. This is the discussion
Screw you,
between me
dude.
and Earth Flattener. Right?
I brought this exact point
So,
up to you like months
Jeez,
ago.
man.
Yeah, but then you fucking go to your looping model crap, and then it just all
No, it
doesn't
had
make
nothing
sense.
to do with that.
I'm sure it doesn't, but you bring in things like that that just don't make sense in general, so nobody wants
Here
to
we
hear
go.
it.
Hey,
I
Nathan,
really
can you
want an
shut
answer to the
Arwen
second
up?
law of thermodynamics and how
It's-
the sun is a part of the natural world
We were
and how the
almost at a
universe is a
conclusion,
part
and
of the
now
natural world,
Arwen's
which I don't think it
hijacked the
is.
conversation.
Yep.
What?
So the problem seems that we're picking apart their narrative with their narrative. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the case that you buy their narrative to pick it apart, but I think in this instance you're saying we use the second law. I'm talking to Earth Flattener, not you, John. We use the second law as though it is absolutely set in stone when challenging their narrative, but that is their narrative. That's how you pick apart someone's evidence. You use their own narrative to pick apart their narrative.
Well, yeah, but quantum eraser use it as fact, as proof of creation, and that's supposed to be as a flat earther who is disputing everything that we know is true, but it doesn't.
So you're saying that because I'm a creationist, and by the way, everyone's a creationist.
No, we're not. No, we're
Yeah,
not.
they are.
I think everything has always been here, and you can't dispute that.
You want to let me finish?
Sorry, go ahead.
Unless you're of the position that all of the physical laws are bunk. That's your position.
No, it's
You
not.
cannot. There's only two choices. There's only two choices. There's only two ontological primitives, right? There's only two.
No.
You have two choices. Either nature created us or the creator created us. That's all you got. Make your choice.
No, it's not, because you're
No,
in
it's
that
not.
bedroom.
Nuh-uh, right?
You're in that bedroom that breaks down because of the second law of thermodynamics and the entropy that happens within it. I'm not in that bedroom. I think we are in an equilibrium that has been created by a way we cannot know, because we don't know what the sun is. But we know that
so
the
your
sun,
position is an
we know
argument
that
from
the
ignorance
sun
fallacy.
gives life, and that's all we
So
know.
your position is an argument from ignorance fallacy. You don't know.
No,
That's
ignorance
a
would be
strong
that I
position.
don't know your side of it. It would mean that I don't know any other side. I just choose to say I don't know. I get both sides, but I just think it may be something else because we don't know what the sun is.
You
You've
don't
gotten to
know.
the end of.
You don't know. That is an argument from
You don't
ignorance
either,
fallacy.
but you don't either.
Yes,
You're
I
just
do. I
lending
already
credence
proved
to
it.
the second law of thermodynamics as a bedroom that breaks
As a
down
bedroom.
because of
That's
entropy.
because you assume that's a ball of fire in space.
Right. You assume that it's a ball of hydrogen.
No, we
just
don't.
burning up there.
No, we don't.
No, I don't.
Well, you would have to. Well, exactly.
No,
So we don't know. So we don't know what's happening up there. That's the point.
Sorry, can I interject? Tooth Seeker, you said the answer was, in your answer, you said created. That is one of the answers. You said created, mate.
Who are you talking to?
Sorry, who are you talking to?
Truth Seeker.
I mean, Earth Flattener.
No, I haven't been talking. That's not me.
I think you mean Earth Flattener, but yeah.
Yes, sorry, Earth Flattener. Sorry, buddy. I do apologise. You said it was in your answer. You said created, and that was one of the two answers that John gave you. It was either created by a creator or naturally. You said created. It's not a false dichotomy, mate. There is no third option.
No, the third option is we've always been here. And the fact that the sun comes around and gives everything life and keeps everything seemingly in an equilibrium
Oh
lends
my
credence to the
God.
fact that
But
we
that
have always
even
been here.
defies your version.
Hold on, I just don't want that to go floating by. Which category would "we've always been here" fit under?
Neither.
But Earth
We
Flattener,
don't.
that defies your philosophical version of entropy, which is a different version from the entropy we're
How
talking
can
about.
it defy it? How can it defy it? I'm just saying we don't.
Because
There's more to the
deterioration
story.
goes one way, so it can't have always been there.
No, it
in
doesn't.
a literal sense.
Even the second law of thermodynamics says that we may expand we may contract from a more how would you say it? Disordered.
Citation, please.
A more disordered.
Yeah, but deterioration over time that dispels eternity can't happen together.
Right. So the
It's
second law of
materially impossible.
thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics says that we can go from a higher state of disorder to an equilibrium if the.
That's a different type of entropy. Not the same.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what the second law of thermodynamics
Yeah,
states.
it's not the
I'm
same.
telling you I
Citation,
believe this.
citation,
The
please.
deterioration
I'm
of
not telling you that I believe this. I'm just saying this to tell you that
Citation,
I'm not
please.
speaking from a place of ignorance. I'm just telling you
Citation,
that there's a lot of
please.
holes in this and it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
two
Nathan,
different
share
entropies.
his screen. Share his screen, please. Citation, please. Supporting your bollocks.
But citation for what? I mean, you don't
For
know
what you
that the
just
second law
said.
of
You said the
thermodynamics
second law of
states
thermodynamics
this,
says, well,
that
number
if the
one, it's a
you don't know
reification
that the
fallacy.
second
Number
law
two,
of
we want to see
thermodynamics
it.
claims that if,
Support what you say, sir.
why should I have to support it? You don't know this? That if you are in a certain state of disorder, if the conditions are correct, you can return to a better, less disordered state of equilibrium.
Citation, please.
Yeah, that's fine. You can say that all you want, but
I
for a
am
crayon
saying it.
muncher,
Support what you
for a
say.
crayon muncher,
No,
or
at
in
home.
which
Come
case
on,
you're
dude.
saying I'm beneath the crayon muncher, you should be able to explain this.
I
you're
shouldn't
not.
be able to explain your bollocks.
No,
you go
you
find
should be able
support
to.
for your claim, knucklehead, right now.
All right, you can say knucklehead all you want, but you're not
Right
giving me
now.
any answers.
Hold
Or
on.
leave.
Stop. I think the issue comes with you saying that you can. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt.
That's exactly what you were saying.
Support what you say. We want to see support for that nonsense.
So you said from disorder to order. That's the bit I think the problem comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, the opposite of entropy. Right.
Yeah.
He's saying the opposite.
They're two different entropies. Just to clarify that another time. Two different.
I don't think so, Owen. You can't unscramble scrambled eggs.
Just because the word can be used in these two manners, there's field specific. One is a philosophical, purely philosophical deterioration. It has nothing to do with common science. It's too complex. And the other
hell
one
are you talking
is
about?
the entropy that does involve the scientific method. And that is called the hot
I
to
want to learn
cold.
science. I want to learn
hot
science.
to
I don't want to
cold.
learn philosophy.
This is
I don't care about
nonsense.
philosophy. I care about science.
Yeah, I don't care about philosophy either. Philosophy's never proved anything. Let's see some evidence, please.
Yeah, I'd like to know proof in
That's right.
science.
Good
That's right.
point. I get what I get what the point
But they're
is.
two different entropies from two different fields. Again, getting construed. It's not good.
That's nonsense, Arwen.
No, it's not nonsense.
Nuh-uh.
Sorry, go ahead, True Seeker.
Dude,
What
I'm
did you say?
agreeing with you, okay?
There's not a philosophical entropy, for crying out loud.
All the descriptions of the deterioration of matter and everything. So
You're
saying that is all
describing what's
incorporated
happening in
here?
the natural world. That doesn't make your description philosophy. My word, come on.
I'm talking about the deterioration of matter over time and how that works.
That's
Is
the
that
natural
included or
world.
isn't
That's
it?
entropy.
This is like taking seriously Michio Kaku with his theory of string theory. It's just bullshit to me.
But is it included or isn't it?
What included?
What? Oh.
The deterioration of matter and that entire line of thinking. Is that the entropy of the scientific matter?
It's not the scientific method. We're talking about laws of nature. They're not
Yep.
establishing cause and effect. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
the
Arwen, this
laws
is where
of nature.
this is where the problem lies with gravity. So we have laws of nature, things that occur and do not need to have a cause established. They are laws. And we have had one of those laws given to us as though it has a force attributed, gravity. Now, if it was the same for entropy, and we were told that there's a force at play when hot flows to cold, and it was called gravity, and then we debunked that assertion, it might be the case that some people were left in their cognition that they need to suddenly find the force of entropy. But because it's attributed to, let's get the terminology right, relative density, then suddenly everyone's, or not everyone, a certain number of people are out searching for a force. Well, there is no force needed. We're talking about laws of nature, not science. Laws.
Right. Well, sorry, but I don't take laws just like that.
But these are okay.
Sorry.
This is what happens. It's not like
No, but I don't take laws just for granted. That's like a just so story to me personally until I
that's the
can
problem
actually
with laws,
demonstrate
No.
that it is real.
This is not a just so story. If I say hot flows to
It
cold,
is to me.
oh right, so hot doesn't flow to cold, Arwen. That's a just so story. I've just made that up, have I?
Only if I can see that it actually works. Yes.
High pressure to low pressure. Is that a just so story? High pressure to low
Yes.
pressure, Arwen. Oh right, that's
Until
just so,
you
that
can
doesn't
actually
happen then. That doesn't just naturally happen. It's not a law of nature. It doesn't. It's just a just so story. I've just made that up, have I?
Well, I'd have to prove it to
Yeah.
see it.
Easily done. Get a pressurized container.
I know,
Open the
I
valve.
know, right?
Arwen, don't rumpus me.
Exactly.
Arwen,
So it's
Arwen,
not
don't
that
rumpus
strange
me.
to demand some
Arwen,
logical
Arwen,
evidence.
can you stop rumpusing me? Yeah.
I'm not rumpusing you.
You've just said I'd have to have that
saying
demonstrated.
everything what
Now
I'm
you won't
supposed
shut
to be
up.
saying, and I'm not
Shut
saying
up.
that.
Arwen, yeah, you can have a demonstration of high pressure to low pressure. Go and get yourself a can of compressed air, open the valve, and watch entropy take effect. It will happen every single time. It's not a just so story.
Can't pick and choose, are we?
That's right. It's not a just so story anymore.
Well, that's what you just said. It's a just so story. I don't just take the laws. They're just so stories. No, these are laws of nature. They happen whether you like them or not.
That's right. But you can definitely, it's not strange to demand some proof for it. And you can.
He
as
just
you
gave it to
demonstrated.
you. You knucklehead.
Nathan.
Don't call me knucklehead, you idiot.
You just had the
Calling you a
explanation,
knucklehead
Arwen.
makes him right.
Literally
That's how
20
he
seconds
works.
ago, you had the explanation.
Nathan, don't talk while Arwen's interrupting.
My bad.
So funny. Hilarious. Sorry, I don't take
It
any
is
law for
hilarious.
granted.
You
I
are
test them.
hilarious, Arwen, because in one breath, for like weeks, you were appealing to the conservation laws. Now, all of a sudden, you don't take the laws as being true. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, I use them like the ballers use all their stuff, like a presuppositional method. And that's fine. Because I
You
believe
used it
in
to
it.
prove
I
your
believe in it.
nonsense.
I've seen my own demonstrations, but that doesn't make then just because I've seen a demonstration doesn't mean that if I hadn't seen them, that I would just take them for granted. That's all. They require demonstration.
Yeah,
no law
they're
is a law. It's a
demonstrated.
law. It's a law. It requires demonstration. That's
Yeah,
all.
it's demonstrated, you clown. And why do you appeal to the conservation laws? You appeal to
Just
conversation. You talk
logic.
out of both
It's
sides of
logic
your
and
face.
curiosity. It's human
Talk
nature.
out of the
I
both
want to
sides
make
of your
sure
face.
something
First
is
of
real
all, you appeal to
before
the
I take it for
conservation laws
granted.
that doesn't have anything to do with the subject to begin with. However, you appeal to them as being true, and then now you say, "Oh, the laws are just so stories." I mean, are you on medication?
We can appeal to
Straw
them, we
man.
can appeal to you, or we can appeal to neither.
Unbelievable.
Because they're all
It's the
options. We have
clowns.
no idea what's going on. You can say that your bedroom deteriorating is due to entropy,
Here we go
but
back to the
your bedroom
bedrooms.
does not apply to the entire Earth because we don't know what's happening with Earth, and that's final. That breakdown of your bedroom is not happening to Earth. And if you're believing in the law of thermodynamics, you have to believe that the sun is eventually going to burn out, the universe is ever expanding, and everything is going to die, because there's a beginning.
Can somebody
so there has
shut
to be
this
an
guy
end.
up for crying out
I don't
loud?
believe this. Yeah, shut
mean-
this guy up because he's making too much sense.
Oh yeah, you're the
Okay, yeah,
pinnacle
crayon
of
muncher. You're a crayon muncher. Am
science.
I right now?
You're a pinnacle of
you
science.
can
That's
bring-
all
Second
based
law
on
of
the
you can bring-
thermodynamics.
presupposition that there
Denier.
is an outer space
I mean,
universe.
this is
Hey, John,
awesome.
you
Expand
can bring
into-
your
Hey, John!
bat to this battle if you want, but you're still just hitting crayons.
Sure.
That's all you're doing. With
Yeah.
your bat,
Thanks.
you're not slugging anybody but crayons. If that makes you cool, then that's fine with me. But
Whatever.
you don't know either.
I'm
Yeah,
on
I know.
Earth's side. This is great points. These are great points.
But we do observe the second law of
Hey,
thermodynamics.
Nathan, we love this silence. Remember?
But I'm
We love
making
this
it a
science.
point
Come
that we
on,
do actually
Quantum.
see it.
We love the silence.
You've claimed that we don't see it, but we do.
No,
You don't. You
the
put your
claim
check
is-
mark
the claim
next
is
to
there's a
it because it makes sense until further notice. You don't know what's happening with the sun. You can put your check mark next to it, but I'm not going to. Just because Quantum Eraser says so, no thanks.
The law requires demonstration. Otherwise, it's just a story.
Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. Hilarious.
You're a clown, man. Along with your
Politicians
brother
make
are.
laws all the time,
Everyone,
but until
we're
the
just
police
clowns. That
actually
makes
How many
them
times?
right.
How many times we
responds
gotta
to it,
tell you?
it's just
How many
a story.
times that we have to show you, right? Heat flows from hot to cold always. Energy from concentrated to dispersed always. High pressure to low pressure always. End of story. Go munch
It
some
doesn't
crayons.
make us ignorant just because we don't know, because we know their side. So that's what makes us not ignorant. Just because we don't agree with something.
Earth Flattener, so restate your position then regarding the sun and the second law, and see if John can address it.
The sun.
I mean, I'll try and paraphrase then, Earth Flattener. So, is it the case that your position is that because we do not see the effects of entropy on the sun, it still comes up the following day? Then that would mean that the second law is incorrect. Is that your position?
I mean, sort of. I mean, it's just comparing it to his bedroom that's breaking down due to entropy. So he claims that just like a bedroom breaks down due to entropy, that, you know, that's kind of the way everything goes.
Where'd
but
you
the
get
same
this
doesn't
bedroom?
apply for this motherfucker. Seriously.
Where'd you get this
Go,
bedroom?
Crayon Muncher. Yes, go, Crayon Slugger. Tell us.
Crayon
Stop
Slugger.
swearing.
That's a good one.
Stop
No,
ad
hold
homing.
on. Let me clear this up. In one of the
Stop at
definitions.
humming. All he does is ad hom.
Okay, in one of the definitions, John, that you read out, it explains that if you close up a room and just leave it to its own devices, it will still suffer the effects of entropy. So when Earth Flattener talks about a bedroom, I think that's what he's referring to. The room that would be sealed up, left to its own devices, and still suffer the effects of entropy. However, the sun doesn't follow that pattern, according to Earth Flattener. Therefore, he's saying that the second law is not necessarily the case, because what they call the universe, or I'm going to call the sky and everything in it, not man-made stuff, but the stars and the moon and the sun, aren't appearing to follow the laws of the second law of thermodynamics.
I'm not. That's really incoherent. You're saying that because the sun rises from today, let's say the sun rises tomorrow, that is a second law of thermodynamics violation? Is that what they're saying?
More than that, I think things growing, things coming back. It was a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm gonna have to.
That's all right,
I don't
man.
know what
If
he's
you-
talking about with that. That's incoherent to me. I
I
can't
can
speak
hear
to
that.
it.
I can hear that, and that's okay. This is all very confusing, and it's all right.
It's very interesting, Earth.
Would you answer my question? Are you saying that
I
if
can
the
try.
sun rises tomorrow, like it rose today, that rising for the second time is a second law of thermodynamics violation? And if so, please explain how.
Because Going back to the bedroom, going back to the sealed bedroom, it's just a bunch of stuff that just dies, rots away, becomes dust, becomes a part of the earth again. And the sun gives everything life. It makes everything grow. It doesn't create disorder. It does the exact opposite.
Oh, really? I want you to go out. This is what I want you to do in the summertime. I want you to go outside and this is called my skivvies experiment. I used to use
Teach
this
me.
back in the day. I want you to go outside in a really hot place, and I want you to get stripped down to your skivvies, and I want you to sit out in the sun from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the evening. And I want you to tell me, has your skin increased or decreased in entropy? Thank you.
Really? This is your example? Are you serious? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
plants, the sun gives plants life. The sun may give us a problem, but we're breathing out the life that plants need to live. And they are exhaling what we need to live. So clearly, it's a different thing.
Yeah,
Photosynthesis and
because
what the sun does,
Where'd you
obviously,
get?
we
Yeah, but
need a
you need
certain
the
amount
energy
of
converter.
Hold on,
Well,
John.
nutrients.
Hold on,
listen,
John.
clown.
Hold on. Sorry, carry on, Earth Flattener.
We need a certain amount of nutrition from the sun, but obviously there's an excess to it. This can't be your point.
Hey,
You
John, do
see
you
that
still
the sun
maintain
gives
that the
everything
stars
life.
rise in the
Oh,
east
this
and
guy
set in
now.
the
Two of I
west?
can't take these two.
No, I'm not going against you, buddy. I'm just asking if John still maintains that
Hold
all the
on
stars
a second,
rise in the
Timmy.
east and
We'll
set
get
in the
to your
west on
question
all
here in a
points on
moment.
the earth.
We'll
Shut
get
up.
to hey Timmy,
Interrupting.
Timmy Clown. We'll get
We
to
will
your
get to you,
question here
Tim.
in
We
a
will
moment.
get to you. Promise.
Oh,
So
okay, thanks. And also,
yeah,
All right.
what does entropy
Dude,
have to do with this? Isn't it
Uh,
nice
your
to
turn,
can I
Tim.
answer?
Not your turn.
Go ahead, John.
His claim is the sun provides nutrients, right? What nutrients are those, please?
Photosynthesis. For us, vitamin D, I guess. Who cares?
The sun doesn't provide
What are
that.
you talking about?
The vitamin D doesn't come from the sun. Homer.
Whatever. You know the point I'm making. You have to know.
I can't read your mind.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah.
And tell us what your
Just
point is.
yes. Can you make it just once more? Because I'm not 100% clear. I've tried to restate it in my own words, but I'm still not 100% clear what you're saying. Are you saying the sun defies entropy?
It may. Yeah. We are in a state of equilibrium for some reason. And it seems like since the sun comes around and makes the grass grow and makes everything happy, makes water in the ocean go up into the clouds and come back down as water. It keeps everything
right
alive.
But you don't
That's
even know
not
what the sun
equilibrium.
is, so
That's not equilibrium, by the way.
This
No,
is
and the
not
sun doesn't.
equilibrium?
So the sun's not doing this directly, right? I already gave you an example of the sun increasing entropy. If the sun stays out, the sun. Let's say you got a tractor in Texas. That sun will eat that tire right off the tractor. That's entropy increase. Show the sun doing the exact opposite.
To plants. It does it to
To
plants.
plants.
It brings back plants.
So to plants. Now, how does the sun do that? What is required to overcome the second law of thermodynamics with life?
Okay.
What
So
is that?
if you take that tractor tire and break it down into dust, it goes and becomes a part of the earth. It covers seeds, and then the seeds come up as life. So the cycle just keeps repeating. We are in a state of equilibrium.
That's
just gonna laugh at you,
entropy
dude. Let's get
increase
on to
from
the
the
star
sun.
question. This is going
No,
nowhere.
shut up. We're not done here yet, Timmy. That's entropy increase. When that tire is burned clean off that tractor, that is entropy increase. It doesn't have anything to do with your fairy tale seeds growing, right? So get coherent with us, please.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to move on to Tim's question now. Tim, if you're okay with this, Tim, can you just repeat your question and then we'll round out after that question gets answered.
Absolutely, thank you. Riley and Quantum Eraser, when they talked to John LeBon, repeatedly said that all the stars on all points of the Earth rise in the east and set in the west. And I was just wondering if he could qualify that.
Sure, I provided citation for it also. All the stars, the sun and the moon, rise in the east and set in the west. Do you want that citation from NASA? I mean, this
So
is
you're
crayon
telling me
munching
that
stuff. Everyone
Polaris
knows it.
rises in the east and
Hold on,
sets
hold
in
on,
the
Tim.
west for
Sorry.
you? Is that what you're telling me?
Hold on. Do you have that citation to hand, John?
Why don't we just go with empirical
I
data
do.
that we can all
I
see on
do.
a nightly
Empirical.
basis?
Define empirical.
Hang on.
Does,
Why would you
does Polaris
and
rise?
not accept it?
Does Polaris rise in the east and set in the west?
Polaris.
Does Polaris rise in the east and set in the west?
Polaris does not.
Okay. So not all the stars rise in the east and set in the west for everyone on there, correct?
So you're doing a little Texas sharpshooting. You think you got one over on us, huh? Wow. Any numbskull knows what they're talking about.
Polaris doesn't rise in the east and set in the west.
All right. So all the stars around it, the circumpolar stars, those rise in the east and set in the west as well. Do east,
They
set
all
west.
rise in the east and set
Hold
in the
on a
west.
second, Nathan.
Hey,
No, they
really,
don't.
Nathan.
Are you presenting
No,
the
they
screen?
Not yet. Hold on. Wait one.
Okay.
Nathan, you know this, buddy. You know that not all the stars rise in the east and set in the west. It's a very silly comment.
Really?
So, apart from the North Star, which one are you referring to that doesn't?
All the ones even around the North Star.
Yeah, they all
don't
rise
rise in the east. No,
They
they
all
don't
rise in the east
rise
and
in
set in
the
the
east.
west.
What does rise mean? What does rise mean? Like when you say the sun rises,
I don't
what does
think we
that
need to
mean?
explain that. We know what we all know.
No,
what we're talking
you know
about.
what? We're talking to Anthony Riley, and we're all about semantics here. So let's look up the definition of rise.
Yeah, the start point. They all start due east and they all set due west.
That's
Look
not
up the
true.
definition of
But it is.
pretender
You can have-
clown.
Why are
Whenever
you?
you
Why
want
are
to
you
use
trying to? Why are you
friggin'
even trying to
smiling
die
and
on
waving.
this
All right,
silly
one
I don't
second,
even know
Nathan.
where
Here
you're
we go.
going with it. What's your point? Everybody understands the concept, right? There's not two circumpolar rotations that are in opposite direction. If that's what you're aiming at.
No, there is.
No, there's
there is
not,
a southern
Tim.
celestial
You're just too
point.
dopey to realize that you're facing north when you look at one, and you're facing south when you're looking at the other.
Yeah, that's exactly what the globe predicts, you moron.
Yeah, but that's the reason why it's not rotating in the opposite direction.
Okay, we ready, Nathan?
To you, you can look in the northern hemisphere and look near Polaris. All the stars will rotate around Polaris point.
Nathan, we ready?
Counterclockwise. And
Yeah,
that's the opposite.
we are. I'm just having some difficulty
the southern
sharing. Unfortunately, I can't share
That's
it
not
with
an
the.
incorrect statement to say.
You're on.
you're
You're
looking
on screen
north
to
when
the
you look to the
audience,
ones
just
in the
not
north.
to
That's not an
hang out.
incorrect
Unfortunately,
statement to say.
they're rumpusing me, so they can't hear this.
Yeah,
but yeah. So
I can't.
the audience can see you, John. If hopefully the. And I've got a bit of screaming, so I'm going to go on mute.
Yeah, I'll just go over these. As you can see from NASA themselves, let's read this together. The sun, the moonets, the planets, and the stars all rise in the east and set in the west. I mean, this is like a butcher providing citation that ribeyes come from cows. I mean, this is ridiculous that I would even have to do this. So if you want another one, astro.edu. For an observer on the Earth, objects move from east to west. This is true for both northern and southern hemispheres from the path of the stars.
Wait. So saying that objects rise in the east and set in the west is different from that last portion that you just defined, is it not?
Wait a second. Let's go back up here from NASA. My position was the sun, the moons, the planets, and the stars all rise in the east and set in the west. That's my position.
That's your position from NASA. So NASA has
all
this
using
correct.
their own science against you,
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah, they're correct. This is correct.
I agree with
No,
NASA.
it's not correct. Actually, when we brought that
This
up
isn't
last time, I
correct.
think that we read into it a little bit deeper and saw that you
This
were
isn't
cherry picking.
correct.
So I'd like to actually have that. Go ahead and post that in Hangouts, and I'll look at that.
I'm not in Hangouts.
NASA.
Unfortunately, it's out to the audience, but yes, it is there with a hyperlink. Can you just click on the hyperlink, John? You can check it on the Hangout afterwards. I'm sorry, for some reason the Hangout went wrong for me halfway through the show, and I can't share to you anymore. There you
you're
go.
fine.
There it is from NASA.
See this part right here?
There's the sun, the moon, the planets, and all the stars rise in the east and set in the west. And this is from nasa.gov.
I mean, why should we even have to post it?
starchild.gsfc.nasa?
I mean, sorry, are you saying still that you think they rotate opposite to each other in the northern and southern hemisphere, Tim? Really?
Yeah. As far as rotation, counterclockwise and clockwise rotation, yes. But
Clockwise
yes,
and counterclockwise aren't directions.
Why do you just laugh? Is this what all you
because you're a
funding
knucklehead.
commissions-
That's why.
Because they don't. They all rise in the east and set in the west.
No, they don't.
Yes.
They do.
They
too.
don't all
You can
rise
have
in
Polaris, but they do.
the west. No,
There's not an opposite rotation point in the south.
there's not.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
They're both rotating
Yeah.
in the same direction. You just change the way that you're looking. That's it.
So there's not an opposite. Oh wait. So
No,
you look
there's
in a
not an
different
opposite, no.
direction, and there's
That's
another
not. No,
they're
counterclockwise and
opposite.
clockwise
going
aren't
the
directions,
opposite
sunshine.
direction as you're looking at it, right?
No. The only thing that's happened is
Counterclockwise
you've
and
changed your own-
clockwise are not directions, sunshine.
I never said they were.
Duh. Yeah, you just did.
I said that you can look in the southern celestial point and the northern celestial point, and you can see counterclockwise and clockwise rotation.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
is that? though,
those
Tim?
aren't directions.
Because the Earth is
sunshine.
a sphere, and that's
No,
actually
because you're
evidence
facing the
of
opposite
actual
way.
Clockwise.
rotation.
Hey, Anthony,
facing
hold
the
on a
opposite
friggin'
way.
second.
Okay, Anthony, go ahead and map it on a flat Earth, and I'll give any credence to flat Earth.
I
then.
mean, we
Any
shouldn't
kind-
have to say anything to you anymore. I mean, you can barely breathe on your own. This is apodictic to a second grader.
So is this the starchild.gsf.nasa.gov? Is this what you just cited?
Oh my God.
Yes? No? The Starchild thing?
Do you have any scientific evidence for your
No, I
spinning
just
ball
asked you a question.
religion?
Yeah, there's tons of evidence.
Okay. Wait, one.
What's that?
We're getting ready because you said there was tons of scientific evidence for your spinning ball religion. So we're
There's
we're
tons of
off
evidence. I'm
on the
glad you didn't say
road.
proof. So we didn't have
All
to
right,
start out with
wait,
that.
one. Here we go. Natural phenomena observed, please.
Oh, I'm not playing your game. Did you think I was going to play your game?
Oh,
You
I'm
do you
did.
actually
think
trying
the
to find your
scientific method's a
citation.
game?
The
You just
stars
said
rising in the
you were
east
asked a
and setting in the
question.
west.
What's your scientific
So
evidence? And you said there was. It's all right, Tim.
starchild.gsf.nasa
Tim,
is
I'm
what
trying
we're
to clarify
talking
it for the audience. There's no need to rumpus this. He asked you a question. What's your scientific evidence? You said there's loads. Yeah, an assertion. Now you're going to back that assertion.
Yeah. Actually, after we talk about this thing, this starchild.gsf.nasa.gov that he has linked.
After we talk about it. We've already
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah, we've already established that they rise in the east and set in the west for everyone.
So this is the document that you are actually referring to.
Yeah,
Starchild.
it's the support of a apodictic crayon
Right,
munching
I've also
claim
observed
that
this.
everyone
Sorry,
knows.
I have observed this myself personally, as has my wife.
What?
They rise in the east and set in the west, in the
You've never
north
seen Polaris,
and
then?
the south.
You've never seen Polaris. then?
Sorry, I have observed this with my own eyes, as has my
Oh,
wife.
so not Polaris though.
And
so-
everyone on the plane.
So yeah, so that's the end of
That's
that little
the,
distraction. So
that's
we've
the
dealt
access
with.
point,
So we've dealt with
and
that,
that doesn't
Tim.
rise in the east and
Tim, we've
the
dealt
west.
with it. According to your narrative, your citations, the people that you buy into, you believe
That
in
wasn't my
NASA.
citation. I'm trying to find the citation actually.
Oh, right. It was up on screen for the audience. You can check it out afterwards. It's from nasa.gov.
Is it starchild.gsfc.nasa.gov?
Jeez, oh man.
Is Starchild's question
So
14?
what's the issue with the citation? Because clearly you have an issue with the citation. What's wrong with it?
No, I'm asking if this is the one that I found through just looking up east to west and NASA. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but
Well,
why?
does it
Who
sound
cares?
like it matches the observation that's
Who
claimed?
cares? You don't have to take their word for it. You could go and do it, like I've done it.
So
It's
it
just
does say
backing
the
the
planet
assertion.
carries you
So
eastward
no
as
problem,
it
Tim.
turns.
No
So
problem.
whatever lies
No
beyond
problem.
that
No
eastward.
problem. No problem. If you are
Oh,
to
you don't want
assert,
me to
if you are
read
to
it,
assert
your
that they go in
citation.
opposite directions, Tim, maybe
Okay.
you could give us a citation that says they go in opposite directions, even though in the face of the time-lapse photography showing them going in the same direction.
And then
Oh, I have a
define
visitor.
the difference between moot, M-O-O-T, and mute, M-U-T-E for us, please. After you do that. Clown.
Okay, I have a
Now,
visitor.
back to the scientific evidence of your spinning
that
ball
was a fun
religion.
little distraction for a few minutes. The question on the table was, what's your scientific evidence for your spinning ball religion? You said there was loads. I'd like to see any of it whatsoever.
One.
It's not a game, an assertion by you. There's loads of scientific evidence for the spinning ball. Let's see some.
Natural phenomena observed, please.
Sounds like loads of jacking off.
Natural phenomena observed, please.
I think that's going to be
He
where we
might
round
be
out
going
the
now.
show,
I
John.
heard him saying he got a visitor. Yeah, the second point.
Of course you did. That's absolutely
You got
priceless.
a visitor, all right.
Yeah, I think that will be my opportunity to round the show out. So with that, I'll say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do. You've probably done it already. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!